Everybody, this is Carmen with Elemental Designs, and back to Mixed Media Everything on Thursdays. Today we're going Strathmore watercolor sketchbook or journal or whatever you want to call it. I haven't really worked on this book just yet, so I wanted to try it out today. And we're pretty much going to be doing a little scene using some primary kind of shapes, circles, triangles, things like that. It's not something that I normally do, but I did want to go ahead and try it out today um, and see how that goes. Enjoy it. Let me just open up my page and say hello to everybody. 1 second. So I have some watercolors, some Sakura Koi. I also have some Decoart products from their media line. These are fluid acrylics, so I have some of those. We also have some media sprays, some shimmer sprays, and we're just going to be using all different kinds of things to pretty much create this page. Hey Liz, I'm not too loud. Headphones and throw them over there somewhere. Going today. So before I get even started, I do want to there's been a lot of devastation happening in the last couple of days, in the last couple of weeks, with hurricanes and earthquakes, in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, all the other Caribbean islands. And I just want to, let you guys know that we've been thinking about you guys and praying for you. I have family in Dominican Republic. My husband has family in Puerto Rico. I have friends of mine and relatives that are still in Mexico. So, we have to kind of, just take our moment and just pray for them every day, all this devastation to kind of come to a stop, and definitely keep them in our prayers and in our thoughts. And yes, it's gonna be a rough, rest of the year with just everything that's going on. Um, so, with that being said, I think I'm gonna commence this little journey of mine today. Um, and just try to keep all of those other things out of my mind for now, trying to keep myself somewhat mentally busy. um, but yes, so I salvaged this roll of toilet paper because it's really good for like stamping circles and things like that. And you can also get nice basic circle out of it. Or if you kind of squeeze it together, you could also get an oval shape and kind of, stamp a shape in there that you can use to create via faces, whatever it is that you want to do. I brought one stamp with me today because that's all that I'm going to be using, and I'm probably going to be stamping some paint onto this page. I also brought some stickers that I purchased off of eBay some time ago that I still have not used. And I'm thinking that I might be able to embellish the page further with some of these cute little stickers. I have different themes like, the sea, pretty much comes to what it looks like in the back. This one has food. So I'm not really quite sure what props I'm going to be using here. A little bit under the weather, but getting better. So I just have a whole, just stickers and stuff like that. Almost like what's that tape? Like that office tape. There's kind of shears, kind of clear. So they're like that. Excuse me. And let's see where we go from here. Let's see how this journey unfolds. I have some water. I would just on my page, but since this is watercolor paper and it's pretty thick, it's a pretty thick, almost cardboard paper. I'm not gonna prime it. I don't need to prime it. You would normally need to prime it if you're using a thinner page that is not, water friendly. And I have my glues here. So just take these out. I have not been able to kick it all the way through this cold, but I'm working on it. Hopefully, I'll be able to, move along. What I'm gonna do, that's the very first thing I'm gonna do is find my pencil. I also pulled out. I saved this when I have when I put on the wax paper, and this is like the backing for the wax paper. I mean for the wallpaper, and it's got a nice kind of glossy. It's kind of waxy. It probably is wax paper. I'm not even sure, but it's kind of waxy. And I just saved a whole bunch of this because this is good for like mixing paints and stuff like that. So this is what I'm going to use as my little paint palette today. What I'm doing is pretty much just laying down my shapes, and then we'll take it from there. Believe you me, I wasn't coughing as much before I went live, but that's just the rule of when you're in front of the camera, right? You'll be fine all morning. The minute you go live, you lose your paintbrushes, you lose your mind, you lose everything. But that's just how that goes. So let me just clip this page back, just so that I don't have this kind of fluttering around. Um, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by just, a fairly simple shape, and I'm gonna do her long ways. Yeah, I think that'll probably be better. I'm gonna do her long ways. I'm just gonna draw like a simple shape, a girl based on simple shapes. And I'm gonna start by creating a circle. Now, what inspired me was a video that I was watching from a YouTube artist. His name, if you guys don't know who he is, he is really, really good. And he does all these kinds of whimsical, kinds of art journaling and tags and just all different kinds of things. And he did, it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm not even sure. Within the last couple of days, he did a video. He calls them swatch dolls, and he just pretty much does these basic shapes, creates, like little swatch dolls. He'll swatch his colors out with these little dolls, and they look super, super cute. And I'm a person that I normally go a little bit more intricate than that when I try to draw. And I thought, how fun would it be to just keep it really, really simple and just emphasize everything else and just keep the girl kind of simple. It's not really my style. Um, Interesting to give it a try. So this is not something that I came up with or anything like that. I'm definitely doing a copycat type of a situation right now. So um, if you want to find out who he is, his name is James Burke. James Burke Creative, I think is what his YouTube name is. And he's really, really fun. You guys will enjoy. I'm going to start off with my basic circle shape. And I'm not really great at handing circles. So I'm going to do to get it somewhat. And right now I'm just going to lay the basic shapes out. This is a little bit wonky, but we can always fix those things later on. As he suggests, to do kind of like a line. So my little friend is gonna have some kind of, is gonna pretty much, uh, almost like if I'm doing a hexagon. Is that what it is? Yeah, of a hexagon shape. You know how it's got like the smaller little edges, and then it kind of curves down. shape that I'm going for, like one end of a hexagon, and I'm cutting that off like so. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Figure out what I'm gonna do with her hair. Um, give her a little neck. Usually watch his videos like later on in the evening, like as I'm going to bed, just to see if I have any dreams of something to create. Um, like that. So I'm gonna curve out her neck, like if I was gonna make the shape of a can with the curved edge. Like if I'm gonna do a triangle, the way that he does his the shapes of his girls, as far as like their bodies concerned, he kind of curves out, almost like a cone shape, but with the ice cream cone on top, right? Hi, Ruby. Hello. So he kind of does his shapes, kind of round a little different. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it concave, and I'm gonna bring her skirt up like so. So almost like if it was a triangle sitting on top of a circle, is kind of what I'm going. And then I'm just gonna do her simple little feet, little legs, down like so. And these are gonna be kind of long because her skirt is a little bit on the shorter end. Um, not way of drawing, but it looks so cute. When he did it, I was like, okay, I gotta try that. I definitely have to try that. For her shirt, I'm gonna pretty much just bring it out, kind of like so. Bring her sleeves down just a smidge, like a triangle, but rounded out. They don't necessarily have to be the same size. Do not, kick yourself if they're not the same size. The same way that I didn't kick myself when my circle was a little bit off to the left. So for the most part, simple shapes. And then again, the same fashion that I did the legs, I'm gonna go ahead and do the arms. Extend this. Arms is I want her to be holding some kind of a prop. So I'm gonna go ahead and square, like a rectangle-ish, but kind of round. And I'm gonna interconnect them. So almost like she's bending her little hands up. But I'm not gonna do that to this one. To this one, I'm just gonna uh, so that they are behind her skirt, and I'll probably end up giving her some kind of a pocket or something here. So it looks like her hand is inside of a pocket, or it's not the kind of pocket that would fit her hands. It would be something more along the lines of this. So like a semicircle on the side. I'm gonna bring the semicircle a little bit higher. And there we go. And then as far as her feet are concerned, again, I'm just gonna do another. I'm gonna overlap them. So I'm gonna just basic little oval, kind of like a little jelly bean at the bottom of her feet. And this is pretty much gonna be her shoes. So now that we have the basic of what it is that we're gonna have with her, I'm gonna start extending her hair out. And I want her to have kind of long. I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna do envision that behind her is this humongous triangle. So we're not gonna see the little peak. So I'm just gonna bring it from the very top, like from the very top of her circle head. We're gonna bring it down, and just some kind of a proportion right under where I put her arm. I'm gonna bring this all the way down. and give her this kind of hair. Extend these out just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm gonna go all over this with marker, so that I have it nice and solid, and then I'll start applying some color, and then we'll start working on the rest of her and the rest of the background of the page. As far as eyes are concerned, eyes right over here, and I'm just gonna do two little lines to start off with, as close to where the ears would be as possible, because she's kind of whimsical. So I'm not doing something that is actually referencing what an actual face, as far as dimensions and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna keep it really really simple, you guys. Her little nose, I probably even go in a little smaller than that, and kind of like little lips. Her little smile line. Very very basic shapes. So as you guys can see, little lines, little circles for the eyes, and I'll go fixing those as I go along. The one things that I'm not gonna go over with marker until I get the right is just a little bit. So now I'm gonna try to find myself a marker that is not going to run off with water. Back to water. If I can find them. Okay, so I'm gonna be using, this is an ultra fine pen marker. Um, and I think it's by the Ink brand. I'm not really sure if this is water soluble, so let's test this. So let me see. Okay. All right, so that'll stay put. So this is a nice marker that you can use to pretty much outline your artwork as you go. Uh, so again, I'm gonna start off by kind of doing her hair. These lines that I already have put down, bring these lines down a little bit further. I'm gonna bring these down, and then here I'm just gonna drag this up, right? So that she has a little bit of an edge to her hair. And I'm gonna drag it up. Texture going on in her hair. I'll go deleting things as I need to go deleting things. Made her neck extremely thick. So what I'm gonna do actually is adjust this neck before I even start tracing over it. So I'm gonna give her a nice long neck, but I just don't want it to be that thick. I'm gonna round this off, just like I did before. So bring this out. Follow my lines. Hi Debbie. So this is kind of primitive, if you will. It's very basic. Doesn't require a lot of fancy smancy um, thing. Pretty much, just very basic shapes, rounded out triangles, ovals, circles. Very simple. And then I'm just gonna trace the whole thing now because I got pretty much what I wanted as far as her shoes and her legs. Everything was gonna go. I'm just gonna curve this out and curve that out at the bottom. Some little socks. I'll go adding more details into this the further I go along. Yep, that's about right. And then as far as her little dress in the bottom, I'm gonna add some lace to that. she doesn't look so simple. We're gonna add a little pocket there. Um, we're gonna work on circles, so I'm gonna add a little circle here, little circle here, even smaller circles. Her dress a little bit of color in certain areas and just tail. Her arms, again, I'm gonna curve this one out because her hand is in. We don't have to worry about fingers on this one, which are like my pet peeve. I can't draw this out and just trace. So pretty much we connected some shapes, just trace over those connected shapes, and I can go ahead and erase all my pencil lines now. Leave me with these basic shapes that I have created. What that looks like. Without going into her face yet, because I haven't finished working on her face, but now we just have just the basic outline of a very simple girl. Nothing too fancy schmancy. Um, it's just a matter of being able to express your feelings via using an art journal. And you can do that and then whatever you end up writing in your journal, however you feel for the day or whatever your thoughts, so on and so forth, then you can pretty much add that after your page is done. But if you want to add a face, you don't have to get too fancy. If you as your abilities become better, then you'll be able to do those things a little bit more easier moving forward. So, like I mentioned before, I wasn't really too satisfied with was looking like. So I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit, and this is why I kind of left it open. I'm gonna keep the circle shape. I'm just gonna fix it up just a little bit, just a little bit longer. Her lips in property because almost invisible. And then again, I'm gonna just reconnect. I think that's a way better. There, her nose down just a little bit. Or just like a simple little heart in the bottom. Give her some very simple, lips and stuff. And then her eyes are pretty much fine. I like how her eyes are. Only thing that I'm gonna do with her eyes is I'm gonna line down like so, the curvature around the eyelid. But I'm not worried about the line in the bottom. A little placement. It's almost like what is that percentage? The percentage line, the one with the little the division. It's almost like if you're doing division, like when you was in school, you know how they put the little bracket, like so. It's something like that minus this little bracket here. So now that I've done that, now I can go in and trace her face. Yes, who you talking about? My husband? Yeah, he started. He hasn't put anything up, but he was so super excited after the live stream that he went. He started his own Instagram. He's already picked out some papers. He's gonna be doing his cards already. He went through my sticker stash and started picking out stuff that he liked. So definitely he's going to be. I told him, I mean, it's a good stress reliever. Art is always and it's a good way. And why not record your journey as you get, better and better every time. I'm all about that encouragement. Very simple, right? Little circles here, circles there. So very simple. And then delete, well, not delete, I mean erase little lines. nothing to I'm just gonna like so to represent some kind of a part in her hair, not stitches on her head, but a part in her hair. But even though they look like stitches. Thank you. Oh, the guy James. Yeah, his name is James Burke Creative, and he is like phenomenal when it comes to doing little things like this. I mean, and even other things. Um, he's really good. I really like how he creates stuff. Um, oh, 'cause he's like really funny and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much it for her. I'm gonna give her some kind of ground to stand on, I guess, because I don't want her to just be kind of standing on nothing. And even though I put it on, I didn't connect it to her legs, so she doesn't look like she's chained to the floor. Yes, darling, he's really good. I like watching. I've been actually following him for quite some time. He's really good, and he got my creative kind of juices flowing when I saw him do his swatch dolls, and he does them all the time. He you know, he's okay with it because he actually said, "If you guys want to do swatch dolls, like I'm not doing a swatch doll per se, but I did kind of imitate the easiness of how he created his characters, and how he just made his girls, and he makes them, oriental all different kinds of ways, and I just think is really cool. Always like to give credit where credit is due. This that I'm gonna be incorporating into this. Put a little jar of something here or the other, and then I'm probably gonna um, butterfly hat like so. So I'm gonna add some collaging elements onto here. Nothing too crazy, but I am gonna add some collaging elements onto here. Just these three pieces, because I don't want to overwhelm the page too much. What I'm gonna start doing is kind of coloring in my page everywhere around, and for doing that, I'm going to go and find. Actually, I'm not gonna find anything. I have everything I need right here. This is what's good about watercolor books, watercolor sketchbooks. They already come ready for you to add wet mediums to them. You don't necessarily have to prime them with gesso, so on. If you have regular sketchbooks, then definitely prime those with gesso if you're going to be working any kind of wet anything. But for this, it's not too bad. Um, start kind of getting my brushes together. There's a couple of people that I follow that I like. I also follow Willowing Art, which I think she's phenomenal. Um, I also follow another YouTuber, but she hasn't created in quite some time. Her name is Andrea um, Guapiston or something like that. I'm not really sure. I'm probably butchering her last name, so I'm so sorry for that. But she also does really cute, kind of whimsical type things. And I love watching artists that make it look so easy because it's really not as easy as it seems. But this I thought that I could do, so that's why I'm like, you know what? I think this I can definitely try to copy because it was just that simple. And he even has like really simple ways of creating mermaids and just doing all different kinds of stuff. Again, using basic shapes, which is what makes it cool. Because we might not know how to draw, but we definitely can connect basic shapes together to create kind of like the form of what we want. So I don't know why I'm taking all my brushes out, but it kind of takes over. um my spray water, let me get my bottle towel right here, my heat tool, because it's basic shapes. Like honestly speaking, my mind would not go like this. My mind tries to go so intricate because I for some reason I have a problem when it comes to realistic and animation. They try to merge fine. For me, the wanting to add the super details takes over sometimes, and that's not really productive all the time because I'm not that great adding all the details. So once I start adding detail after detail after detail, like everything just starts kind of going, so let's see. I'm trying to figure out what color scheme I want to put this in. And I think go with this violet. And they do not blend with water once they're dry. I'm trying to see what else. I'm gonna do this violet and this white, um, and start working on this background. And then once I've done my first layer, I'll go into stamping a little bit of background with the one stamp that I brought because I wanted to keep this very very minimal. It's somewhere around here. It might have got lost on me already. Somewhat simple, so that if you don't have a lot of supplies, you don't have to kind of use this. Anything will work. I even, you know what? Speaking of anything will work, I got cheap markers that are water soluble. I think I'm gonna go in with those. Are really bright, Zen. These from Brandy, who's left-handed crafter. So I'm gonna incorporate some of these in here, and I'm just gonna swatch it out. Scribble on my little wax paper here. These are all my other distress markers and stuff that are water soluble. I try to keep those things kind of like together. Um, it just makes my life a little bit easier. So I got a few of them out, and then I also have the Jane Davenport mermaids, and I have these. And then when I want bold colors, then I'll go in with some media and add some bold colors. But you can use anything that you have to create. It doesn't have to, specifically be this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some color. Super fine. I'm just gonna add, if I could, maybe this will work better if I do it. Well, these are kind of drying. Oops, they're kind of drying. See what'll happen. Let's see what'll happen. Okay. Pretty subtle. But I'm just gonna lay it right on the paper and then just spray them down. And I'm just gonna add as much as I can get out of it. Because if it's dying out, it might as well finish here, right? Bye, Debbie. Thanks for joining. Let's get some yellow. It's like a highlight. And I'm just gonna add just different. About this, you can always add more. Always add more colors. You can always add more. So right now it looks kind of fine. Because if you're feeling crazy that day, like I have a swirl of emotions going on, then this pretty much represents that swirl of emotions. And that's what's awesome about art journaling. Sometimes you don't want to write your words down, but a picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say. So always, kind of do that. And this is kind of why I went over the marker, because sometimes when you finish off your work in pencil, you can't really see it. You can't really see your lines afterwards. Hard. Make a little bit of that pooling. I'm trying to see if these. I think they're too dry at this point in time to really move, so they're not doing much. So let's go a different approach. What I have here. Let's do these Janes. Janes. If you don't have Janes, and use cheap watercolors. If you don't have cheap watercolors, and color it with crayon. It's just about getting the expression out. Anything more than that. right where I added some of the pink and stuff, I'm just gonna go back into it and add some more of that pink. Let me get my water over here. Hopefully you guys can see well what I'm doing. And again, I'm okay if it kind of goes over to where she's at with that because I can always emphasize her some way, somehow with other colors that are different. So, oh, because I did have some yellow in here, add some yellow. I'm just pretty much wetting my brush and just kind of spreading out that color possibly can. Very simple stuff. Very simple stuff, you guys. Let these colors kind of mix and mingle. I have some green in there, so I'm gonna add some of the lime green that I put in. And I'm just trying to pretty much replace other colors that I added with the marker. And then I'm gonna apply the heat tool to this just so that this layer dries before I continue to add more. At the end of the day, you guys, plastic is gonna be completely water resistant. So I'm gonna turn on my tool and heat this up, let it dry. Okay. So I got her pretty good. Add more colors now. I've added some Janes. Um, I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill her skin in. Make her skin super, super dark. So I'm just gonna add a little bit and then fill it in. And the same thing with her arms. I added way too much right there. And we'll pick the rest of that up. And then because I did add way too much, I'm gonna just pick up some of that. A baby wipe. You can use a napkin if that's what you have. I'm gonna lighten this up just a little bit. And then add some water to it just to thin it out. Get it everywhere. We're gonna use a smaller brush because this brush is a little bit too wide for the area that I'm painting in. Yeah. And then I'm gonna get my paints and I'm gonna start adding some stamping to the background of this page. And I'm still gonna add more colors in it. It's not gonna stay this kind of blank um, layer, if you will. worry about your lines kind of, if your paint comes out of your lines, again, that's not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, what's important is that you're getting color on your page. Um, so let me go ahead and do some stamping. Where did I put my stamp? So I have this stamp right here as a circle stamp, kind of pattern on there. I'm gonna use some carbon black ink if you want. I'm just gonna stamp it with some of this, and this is, I just need a little bit. Um, Decoart, and I'm actually going to spread that out. So I'm gonna spread that out on my paper, on my waxy kind of paper. And I'm just gonna stamp it and just add different kind of, you know, give it some texture. Then I'm gonna bring these all down in a line. Maybe create a little border for her. Let me just spray this a tad bit around again, because it does dry rather quickly. I'm not caring if it goes on all the way through, if only it goes partially on, if it's clear, if it's bold. I'm not worried about any of that at this point in time. The thing is just to get them in there. Okay. The baby wipes and clean this, and then let's heat set that as well. So you need to go over it with other. Um, I'm dropping my brushes left and right. Okay. Just to add a little interest into the page. Again, this is a very simple kind of art journaling page, so you don't have to worry too much. You don't have to go too crazy. Too crazy. This is just, kind of like a beginner's, how to get yourself kind of going in that department. I'm gonna go ahead and add some cobalt teal hue. Pick it up a little bit. Add just a few drops. Again, this is very thin, and when you add water to it, it makes it almost like a watercolor. This little fan brush, only because I kind of like texture of it. Streaks out, and I just want to add little elements into this page. Water that down even further. And this is why I wanted to dry it, because now I can overlay two different paints over each other and not worry so much about the stamping that I did kind of, getting lost. I'm gonna get another color, something now a little bit more bold. Let's see what I have. Um, blue. No, no, no. How about these are all interference colors. Never mind. Vermilion. No, that's not gonna go well with this page. Maybe some of this Happy Magenta. We'll water that down. One drop of that because I don't need much. A little bit will go a long way. I'm just gonna really water that down. What I'm gonna do is actually just remember when you flick in barrel to barrel, not top to top. And again, I'm gonna dry this. I'm leaving her the rest of her for last. Just a quick little dry. Little dry. Just to get her kind of moving along. We add. And if you have media sprays, then feel free. This is the same color that I just put down to add some of those. I'm gonna go for the white if I can find it. Where's my white media spray? Had it. What did I do with it? Okay. Let me pick up. Let me pick up all that color that I had there. I need to find it. Find white paint. And here we go. I pulled out some of the white. Why not do the same kind of splashes again? A little bit more paint, a little less water. And I'm going to use a different brush to do this one. Just because I want the splashes to look a little bit different. Brush, and I'm going to mix in what I've wet. This should give me some bigger drops. And again, I'm just trying to fill in the background of this page at this point in time. Gold. And yes, I'm going to be getting splashes everywhere. So make sure that you're in an area where you're not so worried about your backgrounds, things that are, beyond where you're working, like your walls, furniture, so on and so forth. Okay, so I got that off. I'm going to dry this as well. I'm going to be bringing in more pink around her, but first I wanted to get a lot of these layers out of the way before I went into that. I'm all up all the way, but good enough so far. Clean up this paint as well. A bit of something on her face. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into coloring her in, and for that I'm gonna go into my Sakura Koi watercolors, and I'm just gonna mist my palette and grab a small brush. I'm gonna wet this brush first. And here, I always go for like reddish. I must have an Irish thing going on because I always go for like reddish, orangey kind of hair. So I'm gonna go for like a more regular brown, which is most people would kind of go for. I'm gonna give it this nice little brown. To that, I'm gonna add maybe a hint of blue to darken it up a little bit. My brown is not that dark. We come up with almost like a black. A little bit more, maybe some yellow. And now we have like this weird color, which works well for me. So I'm gonna just start kind of laying that in, base kind of color. And I'm gonna rinse my brush and then a little bit and start kind of spreading that out so that I can thin it out. Just bring it down. Kind of bringing that color down just with the brush. I don't want her to be so overwhelmed because the background is really, really bright. So I want her to be as soft in color, if that makes sense, as possible. Make her colors too bold, then it just becomes one big bold mess. So I'm just trying to keep her somewhat softer as far as the colors of her hair, as far as everything that I'm going to be putting on her. Um, let's spray this down a little bit more. Just add a little bit more brown there. Mix that in. Since this is the back of her hair, I want this to be a little bit darker. And again, I'm just gonna, I just cleared my brush and I'm just gonna bring this down to create some kind of a shadow or the effects of a shadow behind her hair. So right along the top, just shadow. That's really what this point in time, just creating that shadow. Areas a little lighter to give the appearance of some kind of light hitting her. And I'm just gonna streak down some of the remaining color that I have. So she's got like different layers, different tones on in her hair. So down to the brush becomes somewhat dry. I'm just gonna, the brush becomes somewhat dry. Again, I'm not even using water at this point. I'm just adding in between the lighter values. It's almost dry, so I'm not gonna reconstitute that to get more out of it. I'm just gonna use whatever I have here, dry brushing the hair a little bit. So somewhat simple, right? Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now for her dress, do have a lot of yellow going on here. Um, pull in some of maybe the green that is not so evident, that is not so. And I don't have the same kind of shade of green, so I'm just gonna grab my Jane, use seaweed, and I'm just gonna put that directly onto my paper here. A lot. So I'm gonna put this standing up so that that ink flows right back into the barrel somehow. And I'm gonna drag this color out because I don't want it to be so bold. Again, I'm looking for subtle shades, nothing too crazy. And I'm gonna make her. I'm gonna go around all the little spheres, little balls that I did, little circles. About it if it touches or if it doesn't touch it. No, you're not too late. I still have a little ways to go. You're not too late. You see, make it like a Christmas. She kind of reminded me of like what the gorgeous girls kind of look like. That out. Smaller brush, something that has an even smaller or finer tip. And I'm gonna color here because again, I don't want it to be so bold. The whole goal is just to add a little bit of color, but I don't want it to overwhelm what I have going on in the background. Just picking up some of that color that is there. Keep closing it. I might as well just leave it open. And I like the pink, so I'm gonna go in with the pink as well. So I think that that would be a nice touch. I just don't know which one of her pinks I use. I think she's got two of them. Coral and starfish. Like a red, I guess. But then she also has, oh, and then she's also got like this lavenderish, lavender and green. So I'm gonna go with the softer one of the two, which by the barrel. If I'm going by the barrel, the softer one of the two will be the coral. Red, but we'll see what happens once I add some colors to it. She looks very red. We'll see what happens. You get some water and just kind of. She's gonna have like this Mod Podge type of dress. There's just all kinds of different colors going on. Kind of like the Nightmare Before Christmas. You saw how her dress was all made of different parts. Like what this dress is like. It's just made of different fabrics sewn together. Bring that up a little bit into that. Add some of the bolder color to some of these. This was not very pink. I should have swatched this thing out, but I didn't. Go back into with the green. And then again, just try to blend that out somewhat. Darker up in the top than it is up in the bottom. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is turning those little circles into flowers. Probably be my best bet. kind of did an oopsie here, but can fix that. Hand red. So now it looks like her hand is bleeding. But we'll try to fix it somehow. This is why I recommend always drying your stuff if you can. Drying your stuff first. So let me go ahead and dry that. Follow my own advice. And I think what I'm gonna do now, dun, ta-da. Let me see. What am I gonna do now? Um, let's see if this is the coral one. Let's see if this one is a little bit better. This is the starfish. Yeah, so starfish is pink. Even though the coral looks late on the label, it looks like it's a lighter pink. I'm gonna go into dots right here, right in the bottom, with it kind of coming off of the page. Worried about that. Some of the colors that I have left over, kind of like around her, just kind of keep building up on that. Lay it down a little bit more there. You should. Hi, Robin. Face, because sometimes we feel like we don't have words to express. So that is perfectly fine. So I think that's what add some colors, and then I'm gonna let them kind of bleed out a little bit. I kind of like how that looks. And I'm gonna let them kind of bleed out just a smidge. And let's try it with let's see what else we have in here. Let's go in with this Byron Bay. And I'm gonna add some of this Byron Bay somewhere down here. Well, that's good that you're crafting. That's what matters at the end of the day, that you get your creativity. You need to go with me. So let's get some of that going. Let's get some more of that bottom here. I'm gonna lead it out, which is why I kind of put the lines going down. We'll, it's gonna follow more or less which way. Add some pink in here, and then I'm gonna pick some of that up. So I don't want it to be so bright. And let's see where else we go with this. Because she's almost done, I'm gonna say. She's almost done. I still have some details and stuff to work on with her, and I'm gonna be adding some stickers to the page. What you have, wrong way to kind of do this. It's about expression, nothing more than that. Very simple. It doesn't have to take that much time. You can take as much time as you wish or as little time as you wish. I'm just kind of dabbing in color here and there with my finger. Feel free to use your fingers. We have 10 of them. 30. No big deal. These colors are looking. And this allows me to kind of some of my excess that I have there. Anything that I have left over on my little makeshift palette here. A bunch of colors now. I feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna dry it up a little bit before I continue to the next page. Her legs up because I know that I were her legs a little bit. All of those things are fixable. What matters now is the having fun part of it. As long as you're having fun, then you're good to go. Why did my screen go black? Google Hangout thing scares me all the time because the screen goes black. I don't know if it goes black for you guys like it does for me. Change, because it'll do it repeatedly, and I find that very very odd. Um, all right, so I'm gonna turn this thing over now and get myself a brand new spot to kind of work with. I am going to. I have some Decoart glass paint markers. I use these the same way that you would use the any paint over markers type of markers. Um, it's got just a regular kind of nib. I'm gonna give this a good shake. I also have a white gel pen, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Um, so I'm gonna just tap that a few times as well, because these are things that I'm gonna be using to create, to embellish her eyes. I'm also gonna get out some markers to kind of work on the lips after and then I have a bigger one. So three she'll do the job for me. And like I said, sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't. And I get some little there, just so that these things kind of pop out again, so that I can recolor them in. And that's what white gel pens, white paint markers are really really good for. Is creating these areas where you can kind of so I'm going to whiten out her legs again. The top of her socks are. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about at this point in time. Some more details here and there. You know, once I get her going. You just dry this up really, really quickly. And like I mentioned before, I'm going to be adding some collage pieces to this clock here. I have my little butterfly that's going to become like her little hat. She's going to have a little butterfly hat on. She's just a very whimsical, and she's got this humongous kind of love bottle, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use that. Let me see what my stickers are like, and then I'll make a choice, and then I'll see where else my page is going to go from there. Where did I put them is the question. Here they are. So we have some options. She can either holding a little star bottle, or she can be holding perfume, food. Well, I like this one. Bunny inside of a cup. Let's see how that looks. It actually has a bunny and it's got some jars, some little jars. How this looks. So she's very whimsical, this one here. I got these off of eBay. They cost like 80 cents, maybe even less. And you might even be able to find these on AliExpress, although I haven't searched for them because I got one of each. So, but maybe when I run out, I'll start searching on the other spot. Called 8 pieces. It has large. It has 8 designs, and it's 4 designs in large and 4 designs in small. And you could actually repurpose this. Like this will definitely make the cutest little shaker card, which is something that I'm going to be doing later on. But these are very see-through, so you'll definitely have to. And this is why I kind of wanted to. These are great for like planning. Put it on paper, and then I'm just gonna cut around it. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is like the worst. Can you get me something to drink in? No school today for some of the kids. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna be making myself some ginger tea once I'm done with this live stream today. I think I need it. Some knock on the door. Thank you, thank you. Crazy. And I'm gonna be adding maybe some little teacups here and there, little things. Oh, thank you. Just looking for some paper that has some kind of color to it. There we go. Some text. And maybe this will make it come to life, and then I can just trace whatever I gotta trace out of it. Very not thin, but see-through. Bottle will work actually. Maybe that'll look good. Very thin, very see-through. So now you see it better. Once it's on some kind of solid background, if you will, then you can definitely see it better. So I'm gonna cut that out. No, it doesn't. It does it. I don't know why. Google Plus, not Google Plus, the Hangouts does that. So this is like a cute little way of making. And I'm gonna take the marker and just trace over everything that I have to kind of give her the bottle that detail. Add some of the other pieces kind of like around the page to them. Did I cut this bottle wrong? I think I did. It's okay. Lord. All right, so let me go ahead and just put this here so you guys can kind of see. Have going there. So I'm just gonna kind of put the gold outline uh, bottle naturally, and I definitely hacked. I might just trace it out and just cut off some of that. I had to reshape it a little bit, but here we go. And this is gonna be what she's got there. She's got a little bottle there, her little butterfly hat there. This some teacups, teacup drinking kind. Let's add some teacups in here. It's not like I know that for some it might not be so easy because I know our mind works, it processes information very differently. We all do. Um, but this is why I always say just go for it because the reality is that you never really know. I trace this while I still have this on the paper, so that hopefully I don't cut over. So kind of see-through-ish. That I don't want to cut over the cups. They're not all as see-through as this one, but this one I guess was really see-through. And I just want to make sure that I do have, all the whole shape, more or less. And then has a little right there and right there. I'm giving them kind of outline to the cup. Nothing too crazy. But something very basic. I didn't do the greatest job, but it's okay because it's art journaling, and it's private if you want to keep it private. It's public if you want to show the world. You don't have to make it. You don't have to go too crazy. My thought process is behind this at this point in time. Relax and not take things so seriously. So take the magic potion that is there to kind of put yourself at ease. And that's how she kind of makes her tea. And look how many cups she's gone through in the world. Or you can result. There's not much else that we can do. Praying and praying and waiting, right? Praying and waiting. That's what most of us have been doing lately. So that's kind of like my thought process behind this. And she has positive thoughts, right? Because when you're praying you have hope, and this is the butterfly of hope, and this is what's pouring out of her head is the butterfly of hope. And this is the time that represents the patience that we must have with everything that's going on, because everything has a purpose, good or bad. So that's kind of where this is going. It might make sense to some, it might not, but it's okay as long as it makes sense to me. And when you're creating, as long as it makes sense to you, that's pretty much all that matters. The rest is actually irrelevant. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's true. Feel. It's about how it makes you feel. So I'm gonna add this little teacup there, kind of like so. I'm gonna see if I find a different image of one of the other ones that I might want to use, maybe a little animal or something or the other. And then I'm gonna glue these down just to finish painting. I just wanted to make sure that I gave her enough time to dry up. I could have put a little cat mask on her face. Yeah. So let's get this little teddy bear out and see how this little teddy bear kind of looks. Because teddy bears represent well, when you're a child and you're scared at night, you grab your teddy. Um, you know, makes you feel safe, makes you feel secure. Um, it helps you to hide your face from the dark monsters, right? From the cuckoo in the night. So let's pull some of these out. See, these are a little bit more vibrant color wise. They're not so see through, and we have ice cream cones and all different kinds of stuff. That would have been cool if I could have given her an ice cream cone, but no. I already did the jar, so I'm not gonna do that over. But I did find the little teddy bear, little teddy bear inside of the jar. But this is all different kinds of food stuff. These are great for like planners, meal prepping, and stuff like that. Well, I mean, unless you plan to eat junk food all day long, but definitely for your rewards, right? Gorgeous stuff with a donut, some pancakes, some ice cream, some chocolate. That's my reward all the time is chocolate. That's how I reward myself. That I got. I put this little thingamabob back in. I have this cute little which I'm debating on him. I might want to paint this thing white. Does it look better on white? No, it doesn't. It out. So I'm gonna glue this stuff on. I'm gonna glue this stuff on, and then I'm gonna commence to kind of tracing because her hairline was kind of that. So I can just pretty much glue that right on top of that and not worry too much about it. Outline quickly just so that it stands out from the rest of the page. And I'm not gonna Mod Podge this in about that. Especially when you're collaging items. If you want to preserve the images, then collage them. Integrity of the page, definitely, brush over them with your gel medium. I'm just gonna do this like so. And then I'm gonna also be tracing over a lot of these things once more. Be safe. And you guys know I put the little sticker over the paper, so like so. And where's my little teddy bear? Hard to see him. I'm just gonna lay my little teddy bear in there. I'm not gonna mask him. I'm just gonna lay him in there. This thing opens. Just gonna lay him right in there. You guys can kind of see more or less what this is kind of going. And I'm patiently waiting for good news, patiently waiting for any news, this to stop, patiently waiting for things to get better. Just patiently wait. And I'm just gonna stick this there, this right there. Okay, and then the same thing with her. I'm gonna trace the butterfly out, edge it up that she kind of stands out more from the background. This is actually a piece that I had left over from the other day when I did live. Cannot let her go to waste. Love me some butterflies. That's pretty much. And I'm just gonna glue her right on there. About the top. I want the top to have a little bit of movement in case I feel froggy. Maybe uh, do something to that, but So that's that for that. Just gonna outline this with the white now to kind of make it all kind of stick out a little bit from that background. And this is what I mean with these gel pens. It's kind of like a gamble. Sometimes they work really, really well. Sometimes they don't. Have to see what how it works for you. And just add a little bit of embellishment to this. Just doing some little basic leaves, kind of like some wonky. And I'll embellish those with white so that they stick out a little bit more. Knock yourself up over the shapes of your leaves. They can be anything from little circles to pretty much whatever you want it to, whatever you want it to be. I'm gonna add these other kind of leaves coming off of it, just to get a little bit of detail. And that's what's cool about keeping her so simple that at the end of the day, you can go kind of crazy with the pages. You can add as much stuff as you want or as little bit as you want. It's completely up to you. So you can pretty much do anything. And I have this Posca in green. So I think I'm going to use that because this colors really, really nicely. And then I can just add those once it's dry with white. So this is just all extra stuff that you can do. I mean, like I said, you don't have to. You don't have to do this. You can add to your page whatever you want. Circles, it can be diamond shape, nothing at all. It could be letters. You could write a whole bunch of block letters. Just do anything that you wish. Right? So we've got that going on. And this butterfly makes it very, very bold. It's a very bold statement on her head. So vibrant. So now that kind of becomes somewhat of a focal point to fix that a little bit. If you will. All right, so now we have our clock piece and it's got its little decorated, little things going on. Because of the media and stuff that you have on. Um, it doesn't work well, so just make sure you have something to kind of scratch it off with because after I did that, a lot better. It's just about just adding kind of highlights. I'm just kind of scribbling on here. I'm not even really, adding any actual, you know, I'm just kind of scribbling on there. The same thing for this butterfly. Just go over her. And I'm just gonna kind of play with those lines that she's got already going on there. Some of my own as well. That's pretty much what it's about. It's about playing with it. Doesn't have to be too crazy. And then the same thing I'm gonna do. And now I'm just kind of changing the shapes that they are by just kind of squiggling around them. Now I can't even really tell what this was. I've altered the image completely. And let's just give her a little dot there. I'm not gonna worry so much about coloring in her eyes. That's not really that important at this stage. However, let me just make sure that this is gonna color in her lips. I'm gonna use a combination of pink and red to color in her lips. Um, and then I'm in with a little bit of not the white I want. This is the white I want. And again, make this a little bit bolder. It's kind of so this page is kind of coming along. I still have her jar. Where did her jar go? I think I lost the little jar because it's so small. Did I? Oh, I think I lost her little jar, you guys. Where did it go? Missing her little jar. It's the cone. And I made it solid and I still lost it. That's too funny. She doesn't want that. Maybe she wants this little buddy cup. That's why. All right. So, almost done with this page, you guys. Going to the pink. This is this one, the star. No, not the coral. A little bit of color in her cheeks. Like so. Brush and then just kind of spread that out. Got a little bit more. Just kind of spread that out a little bit more. I just add the little bit that's left over, like right over. She needs eyebrows. I just noticed that. I didn't give her no eyebrows. So we're gonna do that now. But before I do that, I am gonna go ahead and let me outline this cup real quick. I think it's gonna be easier for me to outline them from the sticker base peeling them off for some reason. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of tracing them out. Okay, I think pretty much. I didn't trace out every single detail that he had, but I did trace out a good amount of it. See it a little better, like so. Let's stick it on the paper. Let's let me see something. The brighter color here. Try it. Okay. So I only did a part of it so that I kind of have the cup in some kind of a color, so it doesn't look all one color. Pretty much. I'm just gonna because I lost my other one. I lost my other one. I don't know where it is. Maybe it fell on the floor. Okay, so I kind of have her all done up. He, because he's got a little bow tie. And now I'm gonna glue him in. And she's kind of like, look what I found. All this chaos. A little bunny inside of a teacup. Mind is saying, sort of, right? Maybe. 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 Could be. Or I feel that some outlining is kind of needed. Um, I'm gonna kind of outline the little little lines. I'm gonna do the same thing with the white and add some lines to her hair, creating maybe some highlights where there wasn't any. A little bit more complete. Fix her smile up just a little bit. She's got a little shimmer in her eye. So we're gonna fix that and just give her that little shimmer in her eye. So she looks a little bit better now. She's starting to finally come together, right? Out of let's just get this. Yeah, a little butterfly traced out. We're gonna have some things kind of hanging off of her hat, more of a purpose, right? I've shadowed this in just a little bit. More little highlights here and there. Um, this spider, this butterfly all the way down. I can continue to add maybe some things coming off of thing all the way together. So I'm just gonna add some glue both sides. See, we could have had it so that she's kind of picked up like so. It could have been a dimensional piece if you wanted it to. You, kids, darling. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. I get worried sometimes because I know I don't have a lot of people that subscribe to me that are into kind of like mixed media. I never really know, the outcome is gonna be as far as it or they like it or so on and so forth. Um, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. That I was gonna make some of these circles some flowers, so that's pretty much what I'm gonna do, just to give these dots some type of purpose, right? As wonky or as pretty much whatever you want. I'm gonna make them pretty simple, very very basic, and connect this, connect everything in a way to make it look even a little bit more weirder, right? See, I think we're almost about done. Let's just emphasize, add, um, I, cups, because we love our loved ones. So this is all about that situation. Doesn't really make much sense. Maybe looking at it from outside the box in, but again, as long as it makes sense to you, that's pretty much all that matters. That's pretty much all as long as it makes some kind of sense. Um, I'm going to put some kind of a sentiment on here. Not sentiment, this is actually journaling. Um, thing that will help us kind of assimilate going through at the moment. Color in the socks, but I'm gonna color in the shoes. Color them basically black. Simple, very primitive. And actually, what I will do maybe is add to these and add maybe some circles. So she's kind of matchy matchy. So let's see. Something to write on this would be something like I don't even know. Uh, thinking of you. So positive thoughts, a time of need. Hmm. A cup of love, warm. So that's pretty much what I wrote. I wrote positive thoughts in a time of need, a cup of love, and warm wishes. And that pretty much finishes my little, very simple, very primitive type of page. But at the end of the day, simple things together make something awesome. Hopefully, I hope that you guys enjoyed you had. And then you can pretty much see that even with the simplest of shapes, the simplest of things, you guys can create art. You don't need to have all of these different things. Um, have you have that's more than enough. There's many shades of gray that so at the end of the day, don't feel like you have to get this, you have to get that product. I used everything that I had. And if I would have had nothing, then I would have just had a paper and a pencil. I would have done the same thing with a paper and a pencil. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much. I'll give you guys a nice little close-up look of the little stickers that I traced out. And you know what I'm actually missing? Filling in her heart because I did give her some little heart charms here. And just filling in my little wonky hearts, right? Filling in my little wonky hearts. So, you guys have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you try it. And I would love to see what you do if you do try it. So if you follow me on Instagram at Design Elemental, definitely tag me, show me. I would love to see it. So much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Hugs, love, and blessings, not in the face of all these things that are going on. So, you guys.